They said, maybe next year, every year, while someone else's kids live the dream. But this time, she saw the photos, and what started as a quiet betrayal turned into a thunderstorm of truth. Stay with us till the end, because when the strong one finally speaks, the whole family listens. Drop your city in the comments, and let us know where you're watching from. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these stories alive. Rain soaked through Naomi's jacket as she stood in her parents' driveway. The streetlight above flickered, casting a pale glow over the suitcases lined up by the porch, bright red with Mickey Mouse tags still attached. Her hands trembled, not from the cold, but from something hot and bitter rising in her chest. Her children, Zuri and Malik, were asleep in the back seat of her car. Peaceful, innocent, unaware that their grandmother had, once again, chosen someone else over them. Naomi stared at the name tags. Isla and Nova, her sister Myra's daughters. Another Disney World trip, the fourth one this year. Zuri had been dreaming of Disney since she was 5. She was 10 now. Malik was 8. For 5 years, Naomi had told them, maybe next year. She said it gently, trying to mirror what her mother always told her. It's expensive, baby. Grandma and Grandpa are on a fixed income. She had believed it, tried to believe it. But tonight, something snapped. It wasn't Facebook that betrayed the lie. Naomi's cousin, Rochelle, had accidentally shared 53 photos in the family group chat. Smiling faces, matching t-shirts, the castle lit up behind them, fireworks exploding like promises. Rochelle deleted them quickly, but Naomi had already seen enough. She drove across town through a thunderstorm, rage clouding her mind like the rain on her windshield. Now, her mother opened the door in a bathrobe, her face twisted in surprise. "Naomi, what are you doing here this late?" she asked, as if Naomi hadn't just seen her wearing a Minnie Mouse shirt on Space Mountain. Naomi's voice was steady, though her hand still shook. "We need to talk." Her mother hesitated. "Can it wait until morning? Your father's asleep." Naomi's eyes didn't move from her face. "Did you just get back from Orlando?" Her mother's expression faltered, then went pale. Behind her, the scent of fresh peach cobbler floated through the air. Naomi used to think it was a comfort treat, maybe even guilt. Now she knew it was a celebration. Naomi stepped inside the living room. It was spotless, like always. Cream-colored couches, glass table, no sign of children. Her kids weren't allowed to eat here because they make a mess. She looked around slowly. "How much did this trip cost, Mama?" she asked, her voice low but sharp. Her mother, Gloria, folded her arms. "That's between your father and me. We worked hard. We can spend our money how we like." Naomi gave a cold laugh. $6,000, right? Zuri told me about the Cinderella castle. Said her cousin stayed there. It's $1,500 a night. Gloria looked away. "They're younger. They still enjoy those things." Naomi's voice cracked. Zuri was 5 when she first asked. Malik was 3. Now she's 10, and you've gone 4 times without them. A creak sounded on the stairs. Naomi's father, Charles, appeared, looking tired and annoyed. "Why are you yelling in our house?" he asked. Naomi didn't flinch. "Why did you lie to my children for 5 years?" Charles came down slowly, each step deliberate. "We never lied. We said maybe next year." Naomi shook her head. But next year never came. She pointed at the bright suitcases. Meanwhile, Isla and Nova get princess dresses, parades, and matching shirts. Her voice was shaking now. Malik got a $5 truck last Christmas. Isla got a $300 doll. Charles sat down. "You're making this into something it's not." Naomi's chest tightened. "Zuri's 7th birthday. You came late with a store-bought cake. 2 weeks later, you threw Isla a full princess party. Zuri saw the photos." Gloria frowned. "That wasn't personal." Naomi stepped closer. "Malik's graduation from kindergarten. You skipped it. Said you had something urgent." She paused, her voice bitter. That urgent thing was a spa day for Isla and Nova. The room went silent. Naomi breathed hard. "Every holiday, my kids unwrap socks while their cousins get tablets and bikes. You know what you told Malik. Santa gives kids what they need, not what they want." Her voice cracked again. He stopped believing in Santa that year. Naomi stood in the center of the room like a storm that had finally arrived. "This isn't just about Disney," she said. "This is about how you made my children feel small. Like they don't deserve magic." Gloria's arms folded tighter. "You don't understand. Myra's a single mother. She needs more help." Naomi stared. "So am I. Or did you forget that Carlos died before Malik was born?" Charles looked away. "That was a long time ago," he muttered. Naomi's eyes widened. "You think I forgot?" Her voice was quiet now, dangerous. "Carlos died in a car accident. We were engaged. You came to the funeral and brought one casserole." Naomi's words poured out like water from a broken dam. "You told me not to burden you with my grief, that I needed to be strong. Meanwhile, Mira had a second child with a man she barely remembered, and you bought her a house." Charles stood up. "You always had it together. We didn't think you needed help." Naomi laughed bitterly. "So being responsible means my children don't get love? Mira works part-time at a boutique. I'm a full-time nurse making $80,000 a year. I pay for my house, paid for my school, raised my kids alone." Gloria stepped back slightly. "You don't have to throw that in our faces." Naomi looked at her phone. She opened the notes app. 4 or 5 years I've kept track. Birthdays you missed. Promises you broke. Times you said no because money was tight. Her voice grew stronger with each word. Zuri's 9th birthday, you promised to take her to the aquarium. You canceled because Isla had a dance recital. She scrolled. Malik's 6th birthday, March. You skipped it because you were school shopping. In August, Gloria opened her mouth, but Naomi cut her off. 2 years ago, Zuri needed glasses, $200 after insurance. You said no. That same month, you bought Isla a designer puppy. $1,500. Charles raised his voice. "That's enough. You're out of line." Naomi stood her ground. "No. I've been silent for too long. Zuri and Malik deserve better. You had a chance. You chose Myra's girls over and over again." Gloria's voice trembled. "That's not true. We love all of our grandchildren." Naomi held up her phone. "Last Christmas, you spent $2,000 on Myra's girls. Zuri and Malik, $200. I'm not guessing." Mira posted the photos. Charles rubbed his temple. "They need more." Naomi stepped forward. "What do they need that mine don't?" "Love. Joy. To feel important." The silence was heavier than the storm outside. Gloria looked down, her voice cold. "Maybe if you made better choices, we could do more." Naomi froze. The words hit like ice. "Better choices," she whispered. "You mean Carlos?" Gloria didn't answer. "Carlos died. He didn't leave us. He died in a crash." Naomi's eyes filled with tears. "While I was pregnant with Malik, I raised both kids grieving and broke." She shook her head. "You helped Mira through every mistake. But my tragedy became my punishment." Charles looked unmoved. "That was 7 years ago. You've had time." Naomi's voice cracked. "Time doesn't change what you did." Naomi took a deep breath. The room was too quiet, too tight. Her fingers trembled as she looked from her father to her mother. "What else do I have to do to make you see my kids? Really see them?" Gloria turned away. "You're being dramatic." Naomi stepped closer. "Then explain this. Zuri was nominated for basketball camp 3 months ago. $85 fee. You said you were on a fixed income, but you just spent over $6,000 at Disney." Gloria's lips thinned. "That's different." Naomi raised her voice. "How? How is it different?" Gloria looked to Charles for help, but he didn't speak. Naomi didn't stop. "Malik needs braces. $3,500. I asked for help. You said it wasn't essential." That same month, Myra's girls got another Disney trip. How is my son's medical care less important than vacation number 3? Charles stood up suddenly. "You need to leave." Naomi looked him in the eye. "Why?" "Because I'm finally saying the truth." Gloria opened her mouth, but Naomi cut her off. "You think Zuri and Malik don't know? Last year, Zuri asked why you didn't love her like you love Isla. She cried herself to sleep in my arms." Her voice broke. "What do I tell her?" The front door creaked open. Mira stepped inside wearing Mickey Mouse pajamas, her girls behind her, holding stuffed princess dolls. Myra's eyes narrowed. "Why are you screaming at Mama?" she snapped, rushing to Gloria's side like a guard dog. Naomi stared at her sister. They looked alike. Same dark skin, Same curls, same full lips. But somewhere, their paths had split. Mira was protected. Naomi was expected to survive. Did you know? Naomi asked. Did you know they kept telling my kids, maybe next year, while taking yours 4 times? Myra's face tightened. That's not my fault. Naomi's eyes burned. Did you know Zuri has a savings jar labeled Disney? She's been adding coins for 3 years. She has $17. Mira crossed her arms. That's not on me. But before she could say more, little Isla spoke up. Zuri can come with us next time. Isla, hush, Mira snapped. Naomi blinked at her sister. You think I'm jealous? Mira scoffed. You've always been jealous. Mama and Daddy help me because I need it. Naomi's voice turned cold. They help you because they chose to. You're 34 with no job, no savings, and no plan. The room buzzed with tension. Little Nova began to cry. Gloria rushed to comfort her, throwing Naomi a sharp look, like she was the villain here. That look, the one Naomi had seen her whole life. The look that said, "Why can't you just stay quiet?" Myra's voice rose again. You're bitter because you do everything alone. But that's your life. You chose that. Naomi felt her chest crack. Her voice was quiet, sharp. I didn't choose for Carlos to die. I didn't choose to raise 2 kids alone. But I did. I did it all. And I never once asked you or them for $1. Naomi looked around the room. You know what's funny? You say I have everything together. But that's the reason I get nothing. You all see strength and assume I don't bleed. She turned back to her parents. But here's what you don't get. I'm done. Done hoping. Done explaining. Charles shook his head. You're being dramatic. Naomi didn't move. Zuri has a list, Daddy. A list of things Isla has that she doesn't. Not because she's greedy, but because she's trying to understand why her grandparents love her cousin more. Gloria gasped. That's not our fault. Naomi snapped. It is. You tell her maybe next year. Well, Isla gets yes after yes. You miss her soccer games, but never miss Isla's dance recital. You criticize her hair, her clothes, her interests, but call Isla your little princess. Naomi stepped forward. There's something else. Last month, Zuri got accepted into a leadership camp. Full scholarship. All she needed was $200 for materials. I asked you. Gloria opened her mouth, but Naomi pulled out her phone. Instead, you posted a picture at the salon. A $250 silk press. Your caption? Treating myself. Gloria's face turned red. How dare you stalk me? Naomi's voice was ice. It's public. You share everything, except photos with my children. She scrolled. You have over 700 photos posted in the last 3 years. Zuri and Malik are in 14. Isla and Nova. Over 300. Mira shifted. Maybe if you weren't so angry all the time, Naomi snapped. I'm angry because my children are being ignored. Malik doesn't ask about Disney anymore. Doesn't ask to call you. He's only 8, and he's already learned not to expect anything from you. Charles stood tall. That's enough. You're disrespecting your parents. Naomi didn't blink. No, I'm protecting my children. From people who treat them like they're less. Then Kennedy, sorry Isla, said something that froze the room. Grandma said Zuri and Malik aren't really family. Mira spun around. Isla, that's not true. Naomi's voice dropped low. Because why, Isla? Isla looked scared now, shrinking behind her doll. Gloria stepped forward, panic in her eyes. She misunderstood. Naomi's gaze didn't shift. Because why? She asked again, slow and steady. Mira tried to pull Isla away. But Charles surprised everyone. Maybe he was tired of the lies. Maybe he just wanted Naomi to go. She misunderstood what your mother said, he mumbled. Naomi turned to him. What did she say? Charles sighed. Your mother said Myra's girls need more support. Naomi nodded slowly. So she told my children they're not really family? Gloria was crying now. I didn't mean it like that. Naomi's voice cracked. But you said it. You said it out loud. And now they believe it. Because children don't need perfect words. They need love. Naomi's chest felt heavy. Where was that support when I needed it? She asked, her voice trembling. When Carlos died and I was drowning in grief. When I was working 3 jobs to finish nursing school. When I was raising 2 kids alone. Gloria wiped her tears. You were strong. You didn't need us. Naomi shook her head slowly. I needed you more than I've ever needed anyone. But you were too busy saving Mira from her own choices. And somehow, her chaos deserved love. My pain didn't. The truth hung in the air like smoke. The realization burned through Naomi's chest. It wasn't about need. It was about purpose. Myra's endless crises made their parents feel needed. Naomi's strength made them feel irrelevant. And they resented her for it. She inhaled deeply. Here's what's going to happen, she said softly. You're not seeing my kids anymore. No birthdays. No holidays. No visits. You're done. Gloria gasped. You can't do that. We have rights. Naomi's eyes hardened. You have no rights. You're grandparents, not parents. And grandparents who cause trauma don't get access. Charles stepped forward, his face red with anger. You're vindictive. You're using those children as weapons. Naomi's voice was calm, almost frighteningly so. I'm protecting them. From people who make them feel worthless. From people who told their cousins they aren't really family. Gloria sobbed, shaking her head. I never said that. She misunderstood. Naomi stared at her coldly. Maybe. Or maybe she just said the quiet part out loud. She picked up her bag and turned toward the door. Either way, this ends now. Mira followed her outside into the rain. You're overreacting, she said sharply. Mama didn't mean it. Naomi turned on her, 5 years of hurt spilling from her eyes. I've spent my whole life making excuses for you for them. Telling myself family is complicated. But family shouldn't make you beg for crumbs of affection. Myra's face twisted with anger. You've always thought you were better than me. Naomi shook her head. No, I thought we were equal. But I was wrong. Mama and Daddy decided you were worth investing in. And I was worth enduring. Naomi climbed into her car. Zuri and Malik were still asleep in the back seat, their small faces peaceful and unaware. As she drove away, she glanced at the house one last time. Gloria and Charles stood in the doorway stunned. Mira looked victorious. Isla looked confused. Naomi's tears fell freely, but they weren't for what she was losing. They were for what she'd never really had. That night, she cried until dawn, not because her parents were gone, but because they had never truly been there in the first place. The next morning, Naomi's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. 67 missed calls. 43 text messages. Gloria, Charles, Mira, even Aunt Beatrice, who never called. The messages all said the same thing. She was cruel, dramatic, weaponizing her kids, making everything about herself. Only 2 people broke the pattern, Rochelle and Tamara, her best friend. Rochelle wrote, I should have sent those photos on purpose. I'm proud of you. You're doing the right thing. Tamara simply texted, It's about time you chose peace. After breakfast, Naomi sat Zuri and Malik down. Their little faces turned up to her, waiting. We need to talk about Grandma and Grandpa, she said gently. Zuri spoke first. They don't like us, she said quietly. Naomi's breath caught. Why would you say that? Because they never come to our games. They never take us anywhere. Isla told me they pay for her school and dance classes. They said they can't help us because you make too much money. Zuri shrugged, pretending not to care. It's whatever. Naomi's heart shattered. It's not whatever, Naomi said softly. And it's not okay. I'm sorry I let it happen for so long. Malik crawled into her lap. Are we not seeing them anymore? He asked. Naomi kissed the top of his head. Not for a while. Maybe not ever. But I want you to know this isn't your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. They're wrong. They failed you. Zuri's eyes filled with tears. Why don't they love us like they love Isla and Nova? Naomi held her close. I don't know, baby. But it's not about you. It's about them. That Sunday, the 3 of them stayed home. They made pancakes. They watched movies. They laughed until their cheeks hurt. And for the first time in years, Naomi saw something change in her children. A lightness. The absence of hope, she realized, was less painful than the presence of disappointment. Over the next 6 months, Gloria and Charles tried everything. Surprise visits. Naomi didn't open the door. Guilt-tripping texts. She blocked them. Family members trying to change her mind. She shut them down. She was done. But something beautiful happened too. Zuri joined a theater program. Malik started piano lessons. They went on a small vacation, just 3 days in a cabin in the mountains. It wasn't Disney, but it was theirs. No comparisons. No disappointments. Just them. Last week, Zuri came home with an essay called What Family Means. She wrote, "Family is people who show up, not just people who share blood." Her teacher gave it an A+ and submitted it to a writing competition. Naomi read it 3 times, tears falling silently. Somehow, Gloria heard about the essay. She sent Naomi a long text about how proud she was of Zuri's writing. Naomi didn't reply. She didn't need to. The truth was, she didn't hate her parents. She didn't even hate Mira. But she refused to let her children believe they had to earn love. Love isn't earned, it's given. And if someone can't give it freely, it's not love at all. Late at night, she sometimes grieved the grandparents her children should have had. But mostly, she felt grateful. Grateful she had finally stopped accepting crumbs. Zuri and Malik were learning a different lesson now, that their worth wasn't tied to someone else's blindness. They were building something new, a chosen family. People like Rochelle, Tamara, and their neighbors who showed up for birthdays and school plays. People who called just to check in. People who loved them without conditions. Naomi watched her kids laugh more, smile wider, dream bigger. And for the first time, she realized they were healing. So was she. One evening, Malik walked into the kitchen, holding a jar with colorful stickers all over it. "Mama," he said shyly, "are we going to Disney next year?" Naomi looked down at him and smiled. "You know what? Maybe we are. But not because anyone else is going, because you deserve it." His eyes lit up. "Really?" She nodded. "Really?" Zuri ran in, her face glowing. "Can we start saving now?" Naomi nodded. "We already are." Malik shook the jar. "We have $43. They all laughed. As Naomi watched her children dance around the kitchen, she felt something deep inside her settle. This was the magic. Not the destination, not the castle, not the fireworks. The magic was in the love that carried them forward, in the peace that filled their small, imperfect home. It was in every moment they chose joy over resentment, healing over bitterness, and love over the illusion of family that had hurt them. They weren't missing anything. They were building everything they needed. Naomi knew the road ahead wouldn't be perfect. There would be moments of doubt, nights when she missed the idea of family more than the reality. But those moments didn't scare her anymore. Because now, she understood something she had never truly believed. Walking away from toxicity wasn't giving up, it was growing up. And as her children giggled beside her, planning the Disney trip they'd take on their own terms, Naomi whispered to herself, "We were always enough." And for the first time in a long time, she believed it. And please don't forget to tap the bell, so every new folktale reaches you first. Tell us in the comments what you think about the story. And tell us where you're watching from. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this beautiful story with friends, family, and loved ones so they too can remember.